नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादिशतारिणे श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा. As I am singing, you can also sing along. We can be on mute, but please sing along. When we sing together, it becomes Sankirtan. And don't forget to clap your hands. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद् हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद श्रील भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद् हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति सापदान्तिकम्. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमां विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिते नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य जय जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे एवरीवन टुगेदर हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपा तमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरं हरि ओं तत्सत् आनन्दलीलामयविग्रहाय हेमाभ्यदिव्यच्छविसुन्दराय तस्मै महाप्रेम रसप्रदाय चैतन्यचन्द्राय नमो नमस्ते चैतन्यचन्द्राय नमो नमस्ते चैतन्यचन्द्राय नमो नमस्ते Hare Krishna. I hope everyone is doing well. Thank you all for joining. So, I want to ask one question to everyone once again. I've asked this earlier, but how many of you have read the Bhagavad Gita? Let me ask this question. You can raise your hands. How many of you have read this Bhagavad Gita? Okay, because I have put some filters like background screen, so like it doesn't show well. Okay. Okay. Reading or you may have reading, you may be reading or you have read. You can raise for both cases, you can raise your hands. Even if you have read some portion of it, you can still raise your hand. Okay, I see some hands going up. Um, and okay, those whose hands are not visible, you can even unmute and share, like if you have read it. So it looks like most of you have read Bhagavad Gita or are reading Bhagavad Gita. And now I want to ask you one thing, like, okay, how many of you have read the introduction of Bhagavad Gita? Okay, like in school days, many times, like, okay, I I would be my focus during my study days were like okay, focus towards the exam, so I would really miss those introductions many times. But as I was reading this introduction, I thought there are very, very interesting things to share from this introduction itself. It has such deeper points I was seeing. So I wanted to share those with all of you. But before that, I want to ask all of you one more question. What is it? Let me ask this thing. Do any of you, like whoever are present here, do you feel scared or do you feel afraid at times, fearful at times? Then you can raise your hands. Okay. Okay. Only few feel fearful. Rest all are all enlightened and they have gone beyond the fear factor. Okay, let me ask this now. How many of you feel fear from injuries? Now, injuries is one. Let me go one step with some casualty. No, 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 no. Let's think about how many of you feel fear from death, death as such. Fear from death. It could be sometimes, see, the fear of death is something like as devotees, sometimes devotees transcend the fear of death. But let me ask you, how many of you feel fear for the death of loved ones? Death, loved ones. See, uh, and right? So, how many of you feel that? Right? Okay, some of you, I see some of your hands going off. If someone is not able to unmute, you can, or some of you are not able to um, say on the camera, like, okay, you can also unmute actually, or raise your digital hands. You can even unmute and share. Okay, so we see that most of you have raised your hands that, okay, either for us, our own self, or for the fear of loved ones, we feel death. So today I want to address this topic. Okay, if you hear this very attentively, and um, if the Guru Parampara's mercy is there, then we may be able to come out of that fear of death, whether it's for us, whether it's for loved ones. So I want your full attention while as we go into this particular topic. So now, in order to address this, let us hear from Srila Prabhupada what he's saying in a discussion. Okay, and in this discussion, I want to give you a context. I'll be sharing with you a video of Srila Prabhupada that I recently came across. And what I want you to do is, even after this class is over, I want you to hear this class again, and I will share the video also of Srila Prabhupada. I want you to hear this video again and again, because as you hear this, you will get deeper realizations even beyond like whatever we discuss in this class. And if you so desire, then you can share your realizations also. See, this class is not meant for, like, I see, I am the speaker as I have been given this service. But sometimes it may happen, even as a speaker, I may have some realizations and you may have some realizations. So if you think that, okay, is this Anant Vilas Das is talking about something, I also have a realization in this aspect, then you should open up, because maybe I may have shared a realization from one perspective, but your realization which you share may open up a perspective which may open up things for others, right? This Krishna consciousness is not about like, okay, oh, one, this Anant Vilas Das comes on Saturday morning, he blabbers something, he goes away, and now my duty is to keep this Zoom thing on and like just be, oh, and I've seen many people, what they do is, oh, this class I have to attend. Let me do gardening while I'm and boom, some machine is going. Oh, class is still going. Okay, let me there. But that's not the intent. See, when you are investing your time, I just want you to benefit fully out of this. And when you be at a position where where you are able to visually see also, because the next thing that I'm going to share, as I mentioned, it is about Srila Prabhupada sitting in an informal setting in a garden. He's talking to his disciples, and among the crowd, there are some people who are seated who may not be his disciples. And Srila Prabhupada is explaining, and I am just picking out a portion of that so that you get the context right from this point onwards. So just let's watch this video as we get into this. You will understand very well what I am talking about. So please, I require your full attention as we get into this. First of all, Let me know if you are able to see this video. Is the video visible? Okay. Please hear this.
So, past, present, future, you exist. The body changes. Is it not clear?
So let me give a context here. What Srila Prabhupada is saying is our body has been changing in the past, present, and in future. What Srila Prabhupada is telling is, let me remind you of our principles of Bhagavad Gita. What is our original identity? We are spirit soul. We are part and parcel of Krishna. So as spirit souls, we are in this particular body. Okay. And if you think, like, okay, now each and every one of us, whatever is our body, is this the body with which we were born? This size, this big head, okay, and this hands, like not like this, right? They were only tiny, tiny hands, and slowly the body has changed. Our our looks have changed. Our like our general appearance has changed, right? From every aspect. Some of us have lost hairs, like myself. But this is not how we were born. So Srila Prabhupada is telling, see, our body has been changing. Okay. And now hear it next. As we go through these videos, I'm going to pause and I'm going to reflect on this so that, like, we all get this context. Are you all so far with me here? So far, you can raise your hands and just let me know. Any questions so far? Yes? You're able to understand it? Okay. I see, the whole purpose of asking this is so that we are all going together as we understand this. I want you to very clearly understand. If you attentively hear it, you will be able to actually lose the fear of death. Now, please keep hearing.
That's clear.
Yeah. So therefore, the conclusion that when he not have this body, he will have another body. You are sitting here.
I want to just take a pause here. What Srila Prabhupada is telling is our body has been changing constantly, right from childhood onwards. So this Srila Prabhupada is drawing a conclusion. Do you have the same body as in the childhood? No. Is that clear? Srila Prabhupada asks. So the other person says, yes, it is clear. So Srila Prabhupada concludes from that okay, so your body has been changing. Therefore, when you will not have this body, you will have another body. Why? Because we are originally spirit soul, we are eternal. Okay, when this body will not be there, another body will be there. Okay, now please keep hearing. I just slightly reminded it just to set the context here.
You are sitting here. If you don't sit here, you go. That does not mean you are sitting, opportunity is lost. You are sitting here, you sit somewhere. Similarly, the change of body is going on. Therefore, the conclusion is that after you give up this body, you'll have another body, as you have already done.
So Srila Prabhupada gives another examples. You are sitting here. If you are not sitting here, you'll be sitting somewhere else. Okay. So the soul is sitting here. If the soul is not sitting in this body, it will sit in some other body. Okay. Srila Prabhupada is drawing parallels. Please understand this. In very, very simple terms, Srila Prabhupada is saying. So therefore, the conclusion Srila Prabhupada is saying is, after this body, you will have another body. But keep going with this.
What is the difficulty to understand?
The seeming difficulty is that while the body is different from that of a bull,
Different body must be different. Therefore, that is called change of body. Unless it is a different body, where is the change?
The memory is there, the boy.
So here, in a very so the person is saying that, see, as a boy, the body has been changing, but you know what? As a boy, sometimes the memory is there, right? But we may not have memory of, like, in our past life, what we have done. Would Does anyone have memory of the past life? You can raise your hand. No, most of us don't have. Some of us may have, like, not within this group, but I know some people who have memory of their past life. So, since Srila Prabhupada gave the example of the boyhood and as the soul is changing, so someone asked this question that, okay, with the boy the memory is there, but as the soul is changing, that memory, and he's asking, and then Srila Prabhupada is giving another example. Please hear this very attentively.
And or the spirit is there.
The memory, sometimes we may not remember, just like this child, he may not have memory when he was very small, but you have got memory. When he was a small child, you are doing something, or he was playing with some cats and dogs, but he does not remember that. But you remember it. So, simply because he has forgotten, does that mean that the incidences were not present?
Okay, see, Srila Prabhupada makes a very, very important point here. Srila Prabhupada is saying, see, as a small child, we may not have all memories, okay, but our parents may remember, oh, as a small child, used to stand up like this, used to do this thing, and we may not remember. So just because the memory is not there does not mean that, okay, we were not in other body. Okay, we are not able to remember even within this body. What to talk about the previous body? So with this, Srila Prabhupada is saying that, okay, the fact that we are moving from another body to this body is there. Scriptures are saying that. But through very wonderful analogies, Srila Prabhupada is explaining that, yes, even as a small boy or as a small girl, you do not remember what you have done in your childhood as an infant, or even, like, we may not have all memories, right? We may have some memories, some flash memories, but then our parents may remember somewhat more. They may have another flash memory, but just because the memory is not there, because many things may dissipate with the parents also, many things may dissipate with us also, but just because the memory is not there does not mean that that thing did not happen. Okay, so, and he gives an example that you may be playing with some cats or dogs, but you don't remember that. Let's go back to it.
But he does not remember that. But you remember it. So, simply because he has forgotten, does that mean that the incidences were not present? So this argument is not very strong, because I cannot remember. Incidences were not present. So this argument is not very strong, because I cannot remember. You do not remember so many things.
He's telling for those people who are argumentative in nature that, okay, see, when you put an argument also, it has to be strong argument. So, but this argument is not strong, okay, I don't remember, because your memory is not, you don't remember many things. That doesn't mean it has not happened. You may have forgotten it.
But the fact is this, that you are changing from this body to this body to this body. Therefore the conclusion should be, after this body I will accept another body. And that's the fact.
So he again repeats the point that he said. So therefore, you are changing from this body, that means childhood body, to youth body, to middle age body to an older age body to much older body. Therefore, when this body is not there, then you will accept another body. So far everyone is clear? You can raise your hands and confirm. Any questions so far? Okay. Okay, so let's keep moving forward. Okay. So then Srila Prabhupada is saying,
As you have accepted in this life from one body to another body, there is a process how to accept it. Similarly, under the same process, you accept another body when this body is no longer useful. Just like at night, you give up this body, you take your subtle body and you go to somewhere. You are sleeping in your room, but you are working in a different place. Don't you do that? So, because this body is still useful, therefore you come to back again this body, and in the morning you wake up with this body. So death means when this body is useless, you do not come to this body, you accept another body.
most phenomenal point Srila Prabhupada makes here. This point I really loved it. So Srila Prabhupada is saying, when this body becomes useless, at that time you accept another body. See, I want to give an example here of a car. Okay, you may be driving an 1851 car in the 2000s, but okay, what happens when that car becomes totally useless? I mean, I'm just giving it was a weird example of 1851, but let's say 1990 car, if you're using, it's been 20 years you have been using, 30 years you've been using, but then you upgrade your car, right? Because that car is completely shelved out. It becomes junk car at one point of time. So then you upgrade, you move into a new car. That car is just the body, but that car needs a driver. Okay. And that car is just like our body, and the driver is just the soul. So Srila Prabhupada here is saying that okay, when our that body becomes useless, when our this body becomes useless, then we accept another body. Along with that, he gives another example that he says that he tells at night, sometimes he's talking about dreams. When we see dreams, we may visualize ourselves somewhere else. Okay. So the soul goes to something else. Okay. And in the morning, its soul comes back, it wakes up from here. So, and then he says, because this body is still useful, that is why you wake up with this body. So I wanted to share one beautiful realization with this, that till our body is useful, or when we are born with a manufacturing date and an expiry date. Okay. And no matter what, that would remain our expiry date. So we can do so many endeavors, but that is our expiry date. Like, because at the manufacturing time only, that expiry date is fixed. Because this body is, there is some work of this body, there is some use of this body. So because of that, we are given that time. What we do in this time is very important. I will give you an example. Many of us drive here. How many of you have experienced that? Okay, you feel sleepy while driving. Any of you have experienced that? Yes, Amit Prabhu? So sometimes, You may experience that, okay, you are driving on a highway, you feel sleepy, and suddenly, even though, see, sometimes if you have, like, sometimes, like, I had external interference where Haribol, you are sleeping. That situation happened. But I will give you another scenario. Let's say if you are driving on your own, but sometimes you will naturally be woken up inside, hey, you have slept off. And then you wake up to see that, okay, oh, I was going out. Has that experience happened to you, Amit Prabhu? Or it was just a
Yes,
dream?
Prabhu.
Why is that? Because the Paramatma within is knocking there. Hello, your time is not up. Hello, this body is still useful for you. Hello, wake up. Amit Prabhu, please wake up. Krishna sitting inside is giving that knock. But when this body will become useless, at that time that knock will not come. When that expiry date will be reached, or when the body becomes useless, that call will not come. Or any.
Prabhu, I want to share something that feeling I faced today in the morning.
Is it? Hare Krishna. See, so let's move further. Now, what Srila Prabhupada, please hear very, very attentively.
This is called death.
So Srila Prabhupada said, when the body becomes useless, that is called death. Remember this, when the body becomes useless, the soul goes into another body, but that is what we call as death. And who are we? We are spirit soul.
That subtle body takes you from this body to the womb of another mother by nature's direction, that this soul shall get this kind of body. So the soul is enter in the womb of another mother's body, and then the body is prepared by the mother's blood and flesh, and when the body is sufficiently capable of working itself, then it comes again and begins its work. This is birth and death. The soul is eternal. Therefore,
Okay, so I want to take one step back. So Srila Prabhupada explained the birth. We talked about death. Srila Prabhupada now explained about the birth. When the soul moves out, it goes into another mother's womb, and then depending on what type of body the person is getting, and he said that it is decided by the nature. Depending on the nature, it is decided that sattva, like basically what guna is carrying, like depending on that, he will get into that kind of, whether it's animal body, tree body, human body, a bird body, any other insect body, that will be decided. and and then there is certain time it takes, depending on what body it is, for the body to be prepared in the mother's womb, and then it comes out, and then it starts its work again. And then now Srila Prabhupada is making another point. Please hear this.
this is birth and death. The soul is eternal. Therefore, a sober man should think, that why should I change my body? Why this trouble I shall take? That is human sense. If I am eternal, why not my eternal body? Eternal existence, why shall I die? This is human sense. Unless one comes to this understanding, he is animal.
So what is the human sense? Srila Prabhupada is saying human sense is when one thinks that, okay, why shall I die? How can I? Because none of us want to die. We already heard that. Like when I asked you, all of you said that, okay, none of you want to die. So the real human sense is when one starts questioning, okay, how can I really avoid this death? That is the that is human sense. Now please continue.
Because animal, by nature's law, is going on. He does not know. Then a human form of body, when he understands that I'll have to change this body, I'll have to get another body, then the question is what kind of body I shall get. That is human intelligence.
So Srila Prabhupada is making a very, very important point. So now, as a human being, see, like if there were dogs right now, we were discussing. Like let's say if I was discussing this with dogs, they will not be able to really understand this, right? Or any other animal. But as a human being, when we understood that, okay, oh, so I have to change my body, then real question comes is, are what kind of body will I get? Okay, when someone goes for a job, do they think that, okay, I will join a laborer and I will die a laborer? No, they will think that, okay, oh, how can I get promoted? Right? I don't want to die. I need better benefits. Okay. So we are always thinking of upgrade. So human intelligence is, oh, first of all, I don't want to die like this because that is uh, because all of you already said that. And the second is, so what can I, how can I, what can I get, what kind of body can I get? That's the next question. Okay, interesting. So, so let's keep.
By nature's way, we are getting body, but that is on the selection of the nature according to my work. If I work like animal, I get animal body. If I work as demigod, I get demigod body. If I act as trees, then you get tree body. If you acted like dog, you get dog's body. Nature's way. Therefore you find so many varieties of body. This philosophy does not appeal naturally.
Okay. So coming back to this, so what Srila Prabhupada was saying at the very end was depending on how we act, we will get that kind of a body. And the Bhagavad Gita, like if you refer to this English Bhagavad Gita, there are some pictures also. It shows like, okay, if we are sleeping for long, there are some characteristics given. Then we can get a bear's body in our next life. If we are used to eating like, okay, um, if we want to eat like meat, then in that case we get a tiger's body. Yeah, you can eat as much because Krishna does not interfere with our intents. If we are used to eating stale food, we get a pig body. And as a pig, we can eat all the stale urine and stool. And if we are used to exposing our body, then we can expose as much as we want and we get a tree body. So, similarly, there are different types of bodies that are there. But depending on what we are preparing ourselves, similarly, in that context, okay, we get our next body. So, in Bhagavad Gita, what Krishna is saying is to address this, because we came to this question that what kind of body can we get, and secondly, how can we get out of this cycle of birth and death, okay, so that we don't have to be fearful of death, or feel fearful of our relatives death, or any loved one's death, because no matter whatever body we take, whether it's ant body, pig body, this body, that body, we will always have this fear, right? You see, we loved fish all our life, and at the end of the day, at the end of the life, if we think, oh, I wish I could have fish, we get a fish body and the next fish body, like our relatives are being killed there, or we may be killed, we may be separated. Can you imagine? We like goat meat, or we like whatever chicken meat. At the end of the thing, at the end of the life, we think, I wish I could have that chicken. Oh, you're born as a chicken. because because we know that, okay, whatever is the thought at the last moment of our death, that becomes the cause of our next life. So this is so crucial to understand, and Bhagavad Gita is giving us that solution of how we can address this by taking this bhakti very seriously and sincerely. I I want to take a pause here, and I want to ask if anyone has any question up till this point. Okay, Lal Mohan Prabhu has a question, so we'll take that question, and uh, let's go with that, and we will stop here only. I wanted to make sure, okay, every one of us understand this particular point very clearly, and I have another question, so I'll come back to that. Yes, Lal Mohan Prabhu, please.
Yeah, I was thinking that as we understand, when a body is born, it comes with an expiry date. Okay? If this is correct, that means that 26 people who died in the Pahalgam, the incident at Kashmir, even the terrorists who are not there, their body was to be perished on that day. Even the terrorist attack was not there. Anyway, their body was to die on that day itself because expiry date is fixed.
Actually, see, the thing is,
If it is so, then there is no question of lamentation at all.
yeah, so here's the thing. There is, so there is lamentation will be there, because as human beings, we have we have emotions. Even animals also have emotions. It is not that the emotions will not be there. The emotions and the lamentation will still be there. So I will give you an example. When Arjun heard this Bhagavad Gita, after hearing Bhagavad Gita, um, so war began, and in that war, Arjun's his own son Abhimanyu was killed. When Abhimanyu was killed, at that time Arjun was crying, and not just that, Lord Krishna was crying because Krishna loved him. Okay, and so they f- they felt that, okay, the lamentation was for the loss of the person, okay, because they will not be able to see this person, okay, they will not be able to have physical association of that person. However, through knowledge, what we understand is that this particular person, I will not be able to associate with this person. However, the eternal soul, the body is destroyed, but the soul is still there. The soul is moving into its next journey, into the next body. Okay, and so because of that, what devotees do is like even after one, uh, even not only devotees but even non-devotees, even in the karma kanda section it is done. Okay, when there are people who die within the family, then there is shraddha activities done in order to make sure that okay, those particular those people, okay, in when after leaving the body, they are able to carry on their journey. And devotees have like, okay, devotees do special things so that like, okay, not just within this body but beyond this also. Let's say if they were not able to perfect their life within this body, then how can they expedite like, okay, going back to Godhead, so that they don't have to take many more births like, okay, after this. So there are many ways of addressing that. But yes, to your point, will emotions be there? Yes, emotions will be there. Was that to happen like, okay, in that time? Yeah, because see, Krishna is the doer. I will give you one incident with this. So once it so happened that that there was in Kailash. Oh no, sorry. In in uh, once in in the yeah, yes, it was near Mount Kailash. Once Yamraj was coming, and he was coming to see Lord Shiva. So when he was coming at that time, like, okay, he there was a um, there was a tree outside that Kailash, like in that near vicinity, and in that tree there was a bird, okay, a full-fledged like bird, and this bird like had just given birth to another small baby bird, and the mother bird, she just flew to um, find out um, to find some food for this. And as Yamraji was coming, this bird, the Yamraji noticed this particular bird, and just he glanced at this bird and left. And then after some time, if I'm just trying to recall this particular pastime, and I hope like I have the right details there. But after some time, it so happened that Hanumanji also comes there, and he glances at this. Um, I'm just was it Hanumanji Shamakarunmai?
Garud say, I think.
Oh
I
yes,
think.
Garud, right? Yes. So yes, thank you for reminding me. So so Garud also comes, and Garud like as Lord's carrier, his carrier of Vishnu, he gets to know like he also has this sixth sense. He sees that okay, this Yamraj has glanced on this bird, means this bird's haribol is going to happen very soon. So so what happens? Uh, Garud, what he does is he takes that bird and takes him far from that particular place into another mountain, okay, which is very far from there, and he puts that bird over there, little bird who has not even learned to fly, okay, and he puts that bird on the tree. On this other side, like, okay, this Yamraji, like, okay, he's having his meeting with Lord Shiva, and then he's about to leave from there, and he comes out. So when Garudji drops this bird, he drops him in the tree. He's about to fly from there. When he's leaving, at the time he sees that, okay, on that bird, sorry, on that tree, there is a snake. That snake suddenly comes out of this and zoop, puts this bird in its mouth and takes it in. And the bird in no time is gone, it dies there. So Guruji is astonished, Arey, I brought him so far off. And the bird, इसका तो फिर से हरी बोल हो गया. Right? So Guruji is very surprised. And Yamraj comes out from there. And Yamraj ji sees at the tree. And he is also very astonished. So then Garudji by the time is back, like, okay. And Yamraj inquires. He knows his messengers, like they have very good cell phone towers everywhere. They have messaged this this particular candidate is accepted in our this one. Okay, so the person, that bird has died. So Yamraj is surprised. Like, okay, so Garudji comes and tells um, Yamraj that, Yamraj, like, okay, I know that you glanced at this bird. I took it that far, and then over there, as soon as I put that bird down, like, okay, the snake came and ate that bird. So I was wondering, like, okay, what is this? You glanced at it here and it was eaten. So Yamraj said one very important thing. I glanced at this bird and I just thought, like, okay, this bird has only few moments to live, but it is supposed to die in that in that uh, mountain which is so far from here. And seeing this bird, I was thinking that how will this bird reach there? But then I did not realize that, okay, you will take it there and then, like, okay, the bird will be eaten. So I am now thinking, this is Krishna's arrangement. Wow, what kind of arrangement Krishna is making? So we can imagine, okay, if we know this kind of pastimes, we will know that, okay, we may think that, okay, we are doing everything. Aha, everything is working by the will of Krishna. Yes, we have to do our endeavor. If we are not doing our endeavor, then that is a miss on our part, because we have a choice at every moment. See, as living entities, we have a choice of what to do. It's just like when we are in the flight is going from, let's say, from Detroit to Mumbai. Okay, and let's say it's a direct flight. So now once I have boarded this flight, I know that my destination is Mumbai. Okay, but within the flight, I have a choice. Okay, what will I do? Uh, will I take the lemon juice or will I not take? Will I have vegetarian food? Will I have non-vegetarian food? Or will I have some alcoholic beverages or some other beverages? All those choices I have. Will I be looking at the entertainment or will I not look at the entertainment? Whom will I interact with? All these are choices that I have. Similarly, just like the flight has boarded from Detroit to Mumbai, similarly, Detroit is the origin and Mumbai is the destination. It is just like this body has this birth date and its expiry date. Between birth and death, between B and D, you have a C. That is the choice of what you can do. And that choice determines that, okay, where, what our next destination would be. That is what it is. Does that answer your question, Prabhu? Hare Krishna. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else has any other question or comments? Amit Prabhu is asking, what is the main purpose of Shraddha? You mentioned that if a soul leaves the body, it would move to another. So, is there any spiritual reason of Shraddha? No. So, Shraddha is like, it is basically for the when the body is moving, it is basically to facilitate the movement, okay, to higher destinations, okay, and even while it is moving, it is to facilitate that movement smoothly, because at that in that subtle form they also need nutrition. So this shrad, if it is rightly done, because most people do not even know how to do it, and like I had personal experiences, like, okay, as we were getting, because we had a special class in this from a very very expert, and there are different types of shrad, like, okay, most people what they do is the shrad they are thinking they are doing the best, but by feeding someone non-veg they are doing the shrad of the type of demons. So it is, this has been very clearly given in the Garud Puran, and of how it facilitates the journey. But that's a separate topic altogether, so I'll not go into much details. But I think hopefully it addresses hopefully it addresses your question, like to the whatever you asked, Prabhu. Does that help, Prabhu? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
Okay, okay. So let's see. Mohan has a question. Mohan, you want to unmute and ask?
This is today's today's class was very nice. So, it was beautiful examples in the class. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. It was all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada was the one who is presenting these points. Anyone else has any question or comments? Yes. Shamakarunami Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
In connection with Lalman Prabhu's question, that if the expiry date is fixed, so actually, uh, I have personally seen a situation where this person's body was completely, externally rather, or at least to our eyes, it seemed that the body had completely deteriorated and not fit for anymore, for the soul to live in that body anymore. But when one takes to Krishna consciousness and by prayers of devotees, um, I've seen that this person's life had completely changed. So, if you could explain that aspect, of course, with our material eyes, we will not understand whether the body is fit to live or not fit to live. But this is what I have seen. So, from my experience, this question is coming.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Dhanat Pranam. Thank you for your question. So I mentioned about the manufacturing and the expiry date. So as per the laws of karma, Srila Prabhupada uses the word nature. Nature means like one who is following by the laws of karma. Okay. So they have a fixed course of thing, and they will have to go through the karmic reactions as it is. But your question brings up a very, very important point which I missed out. That is, for a devotee, this may not be the case. If a devotee is sincere, then what Krishna is telling? Sarva dharma parityaja mamekam sharanam vaja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayashyami ma sucha. So Krishna is saying, like, okay, sarva dharma parityaja, abandon all types of other business. Okay, then what do I do? Mam ekam sharanam raja. Okay, surrender only to me alone, ekam. Okay, then what will happen? aham tom sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. I will deliver you from all your past sinful reactions. Is it really Krishna? You will do that? Ma sucha. Do not fear. Do not worry. So Krishna is giving that assurance. And what does this mean? So Krishna is Swarat, and not even a blade of grass moves without the permission of Krishna. He is completely independent, and if he so desires, he can change our expiry date. He can change, like, okay, he can change the reactions of whatever is coming. So let's say if one is performing devotional service, I have personally seen this in many instances, um, that if Krishna so desires, one person who is about to die, that person gets a life extension. It's like you are about to be hanged, but then you said, okay, no, no, he has good conduct. The jailer says, okay, let us give him life sentence. Okay, that way they can live a peaceful life. Even in the material world it happens, right? So in Krishna's world it so happens that, okay, oh, okay, this person has taken up to devotional service, let us give him some more chance, so that like he's able to perfect his life in this very lifetime, or he is able to advance quite a bit. Okay, and Krishna has different plans. Like, okay, it is not that, okay, everyone will get that. Like, Krishna knows what is best for what. See, how we do is, when we look at someone, right? Oh, he's he has, like, even if we look at a teacher, right, a teacher will think like, okay, oh, this student has these flaws, I think it will take him like 5 months to pick up this subject, and then he will be the basics, and then it will take him 2 years to do these other things. A teacher looks at it like this, but Krishna doesn't look at it like this. Krishna looks at the person, he thinks that, okay, what is his destination? Oh, he has to come back to my spiritual world. He is now becoming sincere. He wants to come back to my spiritual world. Okay, he has to live like next 10,000 lives he has to live here, but since he has taken shelter of me, let me cut it down to just this lifetime only. So if I have to do it this lifetime, then what are the alterations I have to do? Okay, these are the alterations I have to do. Okay, let me have this modified plan for him. He does not see, okay, where he's coming from. First of all, I mentioned in many of the classes, Krishna does not do any background check. Okay, he first knows that, okay, if he has to come back to me, what is it needed for him to come back here? It's just like the sculpture. You know what a sculpture does? A sculpture who is carving on the stone, initially it is just a stone, but as the sculpture starts carving, he just he just starts removing the unwanted pieces. So when we take shelter of Krishna, Krishna removes the unwanted things within our heart. Okay, he knows what exactly is unwanted for us. And what happens as a result of that? When the sculpture is doing the work, what does it feel? Or if someone sees like that, it will feel like, "Arre, what kind of thing is doing?" But then when the real product comes out, you think, oh, wow, this is such a nice product. That's exactly what Krishna is doing. When we take to Krishna consciousness sincerely. See, if we just become a fair weather devotee, a fair weather devotee is like, okay, when the times are good, I'll be there. When the times are bad, I will not be there. Okay. Forget about Krishna. In a job also, if there is someone who is there, like, okay, he's in good times, he's there to celebrate the cake cutting ceremony. But when there is critical times, like, okay, when the project needs him, he's on vacation. What will happen? Anyone can tell? What do you think, Amit Prabhu, will happen if someone is doing like that?
So can you repeat again what you think?
Okay, I think he is background now. Nandini Priya Mataji, what do you think? What will happen to that person?
Yeah, like he will be getting scolded, like
Scolded, or
like
scolded, or what is the other thing? He's not showing.
escalated.
escalated or fired, right?
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji.
Right? There is the project needs the project has trained him. Like, okay, he has been there in all the celebrations, and now this is the critical time of the project when he's needed. But then he's out on vacation, right? So similarly, Krishna will not do anything. Krishna will just not take interest in that person. Krishna will not intervene in the life and let have karmic cycle take its course. So when the karmic cycle takes its course, until and unless this person takes shelter of Krishna, I've seen many people like that. Okay, when they were most casual, and when the material nature became so rough with their lives that it became practically. I've seen such things like, okay, when it became practically they are unable to. There is no breathing room. Then there is absolutely no hope. Like, oh Krishna, I need your shelter. But think about it. If we if we take to Krishna consciousness sincerely, right from the very beginning, it is like it is like this, like being first class employee from the day one. Your impression is good and you do all the good things. Then you get all the pay raises and everything you get it. But let's say like the boss had to scold you, humiliate you, and do all these things, and then you are working in the middle of the night. Tomorrow I may lose my job. Tomorrow. Is that good, or is this first thing good? Obviously, like if you if whatever time we start, if we just go to Krishna and say, Krishna, I am completely yours. From this day onwards, I really want to be sincere. And what is the thing that Prabhupada tells? Just let us be clean, because what Krishna wants us is we become purified. Getting purified is the means by which we can go back to the spiritual world. And what is required to be purified? To get purified, we have to have we have to have six things. What is that? First is following the four regulative principles. But even if we are not there, I would say first is having the right association. Okay. Having the association, starting to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. The goal should be like we should at least chant 16 rounds. And we may not, sometimes we may be there, sometimes we may not be there. It doesn't matter. But we should be under someone's guidance so that we may be trapped in different situations, but we are able to come out of that if we have a desire, like if we have that human intelligence that, okay, yes, I want to get out of this. And and how does that happen? That happens by taking shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. Even for going to school, colleges, right, we need coaching, right? Even if we want to get into a good college, we need coaching. If we want to become a tennis star, we need coaching. If we want to learn swimming, we need coaching. Will we all jump into the water and say, okay, let me now see how to swim? Or it is 6 feet down, I'm only 4 feet. What will happen? We'll get drowned. So so we have to understand from we have to allow someone who is matured in order to coach us, in order to guide us in our journey. That way we will get uplifted. Otherwise we will still progress, but it will take few lifetimes, sometimes several lifetimes. And and then I was telling about the six things, that is following the one is in the association of the devotees, chanting the holy name, and then following the four regulative principles, and then serving the Vaishnavas, serving the devotees in the mood of servant of servant. When we aspire to become service oriented, to somehow or other, like, okay, we are able to serve the Vaishnavas, um, to the sincere Vaishnavas, then what happens is through that we get we get lot of mercy, and through that we are able to progress. One of the easiest way of serving is by hearing from them, by following their instructions. Uh, Actually, we are all trying to follow Srila Prabhupada's instructions. So wherever we see someone is in alignment with Srila Prabhupada, then we should take that up. And if we feel, obviously, we should feel connected with that person. When we feel connected with someone and we feel that, okay, whenever I hear from this person, then I feel inspired and I feel that I want to uh, make progress in Krishna consciousness, then that association we should not leave. We should continue with that association because that will open our doors to the spiritual world. Hare Krishna. I hope Shamakruna Mataji, it answers your question. Hare Krishna. Actually, like I think you have asked this for the benefit of everyone. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Does anyone have any other question or comments? If not, we can stop it here. So I want to ask one last question. So with this particular session, do you all feel like with whatever you have heard, if you have heard it attentively, do you feel that okay, you are able to understand what is death? And do you still feel fearful about it, or are you feeling better about it? Whoever are feeling better, you can raise your hands because we heard from Srila Prabhupada. Yes, so it is very, very important. Thank you all for raising your hands. And um, so it is very important. I will share this particular video. I want you to hear this again and again because Srila Prabhupada is making very crucial points. And although we heard this, but sometimes what happens, even though we hear some things, sometimes our association, our sometimes maybe we may not be in devotee association, maybe in contaminated association, but when we come into those associations, even though we may have received that mercy from Srila Prabhupada, but because of our association, we tend to forget that because of a lot of what we are is comprised of what association we are seeking. So William Shakespeare has said that, okay, show me your friends and I will tell you who you are. So it is because, like, okay, whatever is the association, we become what we associate with. So Srila Prabhupada gives this example that, okay, if one puts the iron rod in fire, after some time, that iron rod, when it becomes red, right, that is as equivalent as fire. You bring a paper near to that, it will burn off. So it is that much effective. Yeah, Lalmohan Prabhu, you want to say something?
Yeah. Actually, I wanted to share the we mostly do not fear the death. We fear the pain we have to suffer during the death. Because death we know that birth is there, death will be there. It is inevitable. So normally we do not fear that. We fear the pain and suffering what we have to the undergo at the time of death.
Right. So Hare Krishna. So basically, I will give two examples. When you see an we have seen many times, like many other people leaving the body. So when you look at, let's say, someone who is not a devotee, when they leave the body, one clear sign that you can see is like, okay, someone may have a foaming mouth or may have very big eyes, okay, um, or sometimes people may pass urine or stool and they may pass the body, leave the body. But for devotees, I have seen that even for practicing devotees, I've seen that, okay, when they leave the body, one devotee I know, like, okay, this devotee met with a severe heart attack, and I was hearing from the when the devotee left his body, at that time the devotee's wife was sharing that my husband, he had such a severe heart attack that he collapsed. He fell, okay, in few seconds, and this person was in US. So by the time like they called 911, like ambulance comes in 1 or 2 minutes. But before the ambulance came in, like, okay, he had collapsed. But his fall was such a so um, so quick. I knew I had lost him by that time. And when they took him to the hospital, he expressed a pain, like, okay, his wife could see that, and then his wife immediately called others and they came and he was being taken to the hospital. When they declared him dead in the hospital at that time, and he had died on the way itself, like, so they declared him dead while he was being taken to the in the ambulance itself. But when his wife got to see his face, his wife was surprised. I personally viewed this devotee. So he was like, it was the most beautiful smile ever that I have seen in this devotee. As if he was in a spiritual bliss. So it was very clear that what he suffered and what his face does not match. Because what the description that I was hearing and the face that I was seeing, his wife came and shared this. Okay, that I could not match actually the face that I'm seeing. This is where Krishna comes in. The other aspect of this is like, okay, that the suffering that one goes through before death, okay, that is a different thing. So that, whether it's a devotee or a non-devotee, they have to both go through this before death. Okay, in many cases, like depending on like, okay, if one gets to that age. But there are two different things working. For a non-devotee who is going through this, he has to anyway go through these sufferings because of his karma. But for a devotee, what the Lord is doing is he is clearing all his bank account so that he can expedite his journey back to the spiritual world. So I always give this example that a non-devotee is just like a he's just like a debit card. Okay, whatever is past pap punya is there, right? He has a bank balance. So if there is $1,000 in the bank balance, how much is the maximum he can spend? 1,000. He can buy uh, t-shirts, he can do this, he can do all these enjoyments, but maximum is $1,000. That is permitted. When 1,000 gets over, then what happens? Then he does not have any money. All wherever he swipes his card, nothing will happen. But for a a devotee is with a credit card, and for the non-devotee, that bank balance which he has is what he's carrying forward from the past. Okay, he only gets that much actually. But for a devotee, he has a credit card and he's paying his past dues. A devotee works on the akarma platform. He's neither he's just paying off his past balance. And Krishna anyway reduces his past balance because no one can repay back like for millions of lifetimes. This is Krishna sends Guru into his life, a bona fide Guru. And by the mercy of that Guru, already his balance is very much minimized. But some purification is left so that he is able to remember Krishna. And this is very important because let's say if if I have a good job, if I have a good house, if everything is positive, I have good food, everything, if everyone is cooperative, I have no other issues. I put my legs on the chair and I'm chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I will not be able to chant. That mood will not come. Okay, because we are in this material world. But we are, Krishna keeps a very little thing for us so that if there is some little bit thing, he knows our capacity. A fifth grader will get fifth grade, seventh grader will seventh grade. and and based on that capacity, he puts us in difficulty. Some devotee he will put into a difficulty. I know one devotee student. This devotee is put into difficulty, like, okay, if he has to go from this place to that place, and somehow the person is a little child actually. So on a highway, this person feels that, okay, I have to use the restroom, but there is no restroom. The devotee will call out, oh Narsingadev, oh Krishna, please save me. That is his level. Okay. For different devotees, Krishna has different plan. Somehow or other that they are able to remember him. And through remembrance, what is happening? Krishna is Guru is giving, but just because the Guru has accepted, Krishna is clearing lifetimes after lifetimes, just because a pure devotee is accepted. That is the mercy of a Guru. Does that help, Prabhu?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So with that, we'll conclude. Shrimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. और जगत गुरु शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदी गौरंकुटी भक्त वृंद की जय। वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्येव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदी। हरि हरि बोल।